This year, Holocaust Remembrance Day takes on a very different meaning for all of us here in Israel. In 1948, Israel was established to protect the Jewish people. And on October 7th, 2023, the feeling of safety and security here in Israel and for Jews around the world was suddenly questioned. Today, I'm interviewing two incredible survivors. One of them, Sarah, a Holocaust survivor from Poland. And the second, Noa, a 23-year-old survivor from the Nova Dance Festival that was attacked, and hundreds of people from that festival murdered, kidnapped, inside of Israel where they thought they were safe. Today, we're going to hear their stories, and we're going to remember why we can never forget. Why on Holocaust Remembrance Day, we dare not let those chants of never again transform into from the river to the sea. We're in a fight for our survival once again, and we need you to understand, to hear, and to stand with Israel and the Jewish people now. Sarah, you are an 88-year-old Holocaust survivor. You were born in Poland just a few years before World War II began. Tell us about your childhood.
I remember as a little girl when our city, Tomaszów-Lubelski, was bombed just at noontime. I was about 4 years old. My brother was 7. And I had an older sister, Leah. She was 10. One day, my parents decided to leave Tomaszów-Lubelski. One of the soldiers that were stationed in our town, my father got friendly with him, and he said to him, if you can leave, leave, because the Germans are coming instead of us, and they will be bad. We packed whatever we could, and we left Tomaszów. And we went till another town to the east, to Rawaruska. And one night, it was Friday night, there was a knock on our door, and soldiers, I don't know, people came in and told us to get dressed and to go onto the lorry. We got dressed, my brother and myself, and we were on the lorry, and the lorry took us to this train station in Rawaruska. I think we were on the train for maybe 5 weeks. We never were allowed to go down the train. In the end, the train stopped because the railways stopped, and we came to Siberia. My parents worked in the forest to cut trees, and we were there in that place like prisoners, really.
Do you remember being hungry there?
Yes. Yes.
They didn't give you food when you were in Siberia.
There was very little food. And in the winter, it was so cold. I think it was 50 degrees.
Below zero.
Below zero. Wow. It was very cold.
At what point did you find out what was happening to Jews across Eastern Europe? And maybe to your family? Were any of your family members killed?
During the war, we didn't know very much what's happening in Poland. When the war finished, people asked, what's with the Jews? They said, Jews? There's no more Jews in Europe. But nobody believed, because all of a sudden they understood there's nothing to come back.
There are none of their family members there.
And there's nobody left.
So your father said, we're going to Israel.
We're going to Israel.
So going from the Holocaust, you made it to Israel. Now I want to move over to Noa. Noa, you had a very different childhood than what Sarah describes. Tell us a little bit about your childhood. You were born in Israel. You were a generation after the Holocaust. Your father escaped Lebanon. And from your other side, you also have Holocaust survivors, that you are the culmination of a dream, being born in the Jewish homeland where I'm sure your parents and grandparents envisioned a life of safety for you as a young Jewish woman.
I was born and raised in Rosh Hashanah, in the center of Israel. I have a beautiful house, and really I have an amazing family. I can't complain about anything.
So you had a childhood of a dream. Your grandparents living in Israel, being able to travel, not being under threat for being a Jewish woman. And then October 7th happened. You experienced those atrocities firsthand.
Yeah.
You want to tell us about that?
On October 7th, I went to the Nova Fest, the party with my friend. I was planning to go that party for a while. I was expecting that. It's like running away from routine and everything and normal life for 24 hours of pure happiness, just dancing, nature, enjoying beautiful people. Even if I would go there alone, I would feel safe because that's the kind of people that are going to these parties.
A feeling of community.
Yeah, it really is a community. And I went to that party. I was planning to arrive there just by sunrise because it's like the peak of the party when the sun comes out and you see everyone smile and dance and really so happy with each other. I called my friend, Noam. I was planning to meet her there. I ran to her, we hugged, and we just ran together to the dance floor. It felt like a dream, and we had 15 minutes of pure happiness until everything started. And we started hearing like really strong sounds of bombs and missiles, and I was looking at the sky, seeing rockets being shot above us. I was holding my friend's hand. Unfortunately, that was our last minutes together. And when we realized what's happening, everyone were so panicked and they didn't know what to do. They shut down the party. They said, they're rockets, go home. Yeah. We're shutting down the party. And I went to the car. We started driving
and
away.
At this point, it must have been very scary, but also
normal.
Unfortunately, it's part of routine in Israel.
That
you have red alerts, you have the rockets that are launched by the terrorists. You hopefully have the Iron Dome that intersects them. You're able to find safety and to return home safely. You didn't think at this point.
No, we had no
there was
idea.
Anything different.
I mean, I panicked, but I knew that it's very common that in this area of the country, near the Gaza Strip, it's happening. And it's our reality. So yeah, okay, we have some rockets above us, but everything's fine. We're going to go hide in a bomb shelter, wait a little bit, and then go home, and everything will be okay. And we started driving away. I was driving in my car. We were hiding in a bomb shelter for about 15 minutes, and then we decided to continue home. After 10 minutes driving, we started hearing guns all over the place, and the terrorists started shooting at all of the cars. So I started to turn around as fast as I could, running away, driving away to the other side. I saw people being shot on the way, and I grabbed a friend of mine, and I told him to go inside the car. He got shot in the leg, and we just started driving the other way until we were stuck in a traffic of thousands of cars going out of the party. Didn't know what to do because there were terrorists all over the place. They closed us from every direction possible.
You thought you were driving away from the terrorists,
yeah.
but you were just driving towards another set of terrorists.
Yeah, exactly. And after a few minutes there, the security guards and the people around us just told us, there are terrorists all over the place. Run away.
We can't protect you.
Run away. That's it. Where, what to do, just run away. Run for your lives. And we started running to the open field. We ran about 2 kilometers. Meanwhile, hiding inside trees and bushes and everything we could find until we started hearing gunshots from the way we are running towards. So we had no place to go. We had to change direction again. that was the moment when I first realized that maybe that's the end. Long minutes of not knowing what's going to happen, if I'm going to live or die. Seeing and hearing people fall near me, seeing the terrorists running, and thinking about that maybe my next step will be the last one. And we got into a place where we didn't have any place to hide. I said, if I'm running this to this direction, that's the end for sure.
Right.
And my friend grabbed my hand and he pulled me backwards, and we went inside the first bush we saw, which was a quite big one. He pushes me inside, and we were inside that bush for 8 hours.
You were telling me that you experienced miracles in that bush, that the terrorists came and shot at every other bush, and for some reason, yours was protected.
Yeah.
What was that like, to be sitting in a bush and seeing the terrorists and seeing everywhere else be shot, and you're there for 8 hours?
It's closing your eyes, being so quiet you can't even breathe properly, not to mention anything else. Not speaking, not doing anything, just close my eyes, hug my friend. Hopefully, I'm gonna live another second.
Your friend Noam was killed that day. Did you have other people that you knew from the party?
Yeah, I've lost 2 of my best friends, 3 actually, and another one which was kidnapped, and she's still there. Her name is Romi Gonen. She's such a beautiful young girl. All of them, just beautiful young people who wanted to celebrate life.
Yeah. And are targeted because they're in
Because of
Israel.
being Jewish.
Being Jewish.
That's all.
Sarah, as a Holocaust survivor, hearing the story of the next generation, what are the thoughts that go through your mind? You're not just a Holocaust survivor. When your family moved to Israel, they moved to southern Israel, very close to where the party that Noah was at was happening. What was your experience on October 7th? And sitting here as a Holocaust survivor, seeing the next generation and what they're going through, what are the thoughts that go through your mind?
I was by myself at home. I was supposed to go for lunch to my children on Saad, and as I'm dressing, I hear Tseva Adom. I didn't took it very seriously, but sometimes it happens in the area where I live, so I didn't pay any attention. I went out to the sukkah to see what's happening. I live near the gate, second house, and I see a few people are going into the house in front, in one of the houses in front of my house, where the road, where the gate is, and I see some people came into my sukkah, went into my house. I don't remember that they asked permission. They went into the house, they went to the front door, they locked the door, and in the corner I have a very big armchair. They took the armchair and put it in front of the door, and we all went into the shelter room.
So this group of people who came were people from the party where Noah was at,
yes,
who were escaping the rocket fire.
That's
and terrorists
right.
Came to your house,
Yes.
And you were all together in the bomb shelter.
Yes, they locked the door. I never do that. I didn't understand. And we were sitting there. There was a lot of bombing outside.
Sarah, at what point did you realize that this was different than what happened before?
I don't know. I don't know. I didn't realize. Sunday morning, relations of my daughter-in-law that lives on Saad, she came to me and she said, Sarah, we are leaving Saad, and come with us because very soon we won't be able to go out. Mm-hmm. So I took my bag.
And you left again.
And I went. I didn't take anything.
Right. So this is the second time in your life, Sarah, that you had to immediately evacuate, maybe even the third time, in Poland and then again, once again now in Israel. I'm wondering, Noah, what has it been like since October 7th? You endured something that I think is everyone's worst nightmare, from going to be with friends, be surrounded by community, to needing to escape the rockets, to literally running from terrorists and having nowhere to run that's safe, to hiding in a bush for 8 hours, to having your friends be murdered, your friend be kidnapped. She should be brought home now, immediately. We're all praying for that. And on top of this trauma that you've experienced, you've also suddenly seen the world turn against Israel, somehow make Israel into the bad one, the aggressor. What does it feel like for you as a survivor of October 7th to see that there isn't so much support in the world anymore for Israel and the Jewish people? Maybe you can even say similar to when Sarah was a child and running from the Nazis.
It's disappointing because I honestly thought that this is a different era, that we've been through all these stuff, and Israel is a modern, an amazing country, and we give the world a lot. And I honestly thought that anti-Semitism is no longer exists, at least not in the same way. And unfortunately, we found out otherwise. And now this is our work to make sure everyone understands what's happening here and make sure that they know what innocent civilians were been through on October 7th. And this is our work to raise the awareness.
Yeah. Right now we see people standing up and defending the Hamas terrorists who took your friend instead of trying to free and bring home your friend, which is something that we never thought would be able to happen today.
No.
We thought that when the world yelled never again, that they would actually stand with Israel when those words had to take meaning. And today we see people screaming out the new anti-Semitism of from the river to the sea, which are the same exact calls as Hitler and the Nazis called in the 1930s, maybe with different words, but the same meaning. Sarah, what's it like for you now, 88 years old, living in Israel with dozens, may they be healthy, of grandkids, all living in Israel? What's it like for you to see history repeat itself?
When I was a child, when after the war, I said, now it will never happen again. Never will anybody will be against us. And that's how we go. I never thought it's something bad is going to happen to us.
What do you hope that the world sees in your story, Noah? What do you hope that the world sees in Israel? And what can they do to continue standing with this slogan that takes on more meaning now more than ever of never again?
I think that people need to understand that innocent civilians, beautiful young people who just wanted to celebrate life, dance, were brutally slaughtered, murdered, some of them raped, on our land, on our safe space. And Israel may be the first one, but the world is next. And it's a war against terror. It's a war against Hamas. There are no sides, no Palestinian or Israeli. It's not about that. It's about fighting pure evil. And you can see it everywhere. It's happening. It's just a matter of time. And we need to take action. We need to bring the hostages back now. There's no minute to waste. We already lost so many lives. We have to save the ones that are still have, even if the smallest chances.
Do you think that Israel's in a war for survival right now?
Yeah.
Could you see it happening when I hear you say that the world is facing the same evil as Israel is and they just have to wake up to it? Where do you see that?
You can see it everywhere in the capital when Palestinians are rising and yelling all kinds of slogans like from the river to the sea. They just don't understand.
You see it in London, you see it in America,
Everywhere.
you see it in Australia.
The evil is starting to wake up. You can see it on the streets, in the most safe spaces. I don't want to walk around the world and needing to be ashamed of my Jewish identity.
Yeah.
And after what's happening here in the streets, I'm feeling not safe walking around, like walking in the streets. Sometimes I even feel unsafe in my own house after what happened and still happening.
Simply for being a Jew.
Yeah.
Sarah, what do you hope that the world sees right now?
I can't believe that it happened. It happens again. I never dreamed that I'll have to leave my home for 3 months.
And what do you think our friends in America and Europe and Australia, what do you want them to know or do right now?
To stop the hatred against other people, against other countries.
What do you see for the future?
I hope that my children, my grandchildren, won't have to live through things like I did. And I hope that's what's going to happen. I think the world has to wake up because there is place for everybody.
Noah, what do you hope for the future?
Just like Sarah said, everyone has a place, and there are ways to solve conflicts, and just not by yelling slogans and things that mean not much. Just really understand what you're saying before you make a statement. Understand what's really happening here before choosing sides or hearing your voice, because every voice has an influence. We need everyone to stand with Israel right now. I really hope that when my younger brother will be 18 years old, he's not gonna have to face wars as a soldier in the military like they said to me when I was younger. When you grow up, we won't have any wars, don't worry. But it's still happening, so I really hope that will change for the younger generation.
Israel tries to live the vision of peace, and we pray that the whole world will be able to stand with us in this.
Please, God.
Amen. In the vision for peace and equality, reaching out our hand to the other and hoping that one day we will no longer see a world full of anti-Semitism, no longer see a world that's committed to the genocide of Israel and the Jewish people, and that your brother, who's 13, way before he gets to the army, that Israel should enjoy that peace that we long for.
I also hoped when my children will grow up, they won't have to go to the army.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.